What we first experienced years ago from once or twice a month, at that point it became maybe once a week. And now I'm afraid to say that we're experiencing this almost every day. We are probably averaging throughout the year a report every day of domestic violence. Some of it is nonviolent. We get there, it was just an argument, and so there's nothing that we do in the shape or form of an arrest. And then we get into the victimization part of it, where you have the victim who is afraid to report because she's totally dependent on her husband or on her significant other, and they're still that emotional that they want something done. They just don't want him to get into trouble, and you don't always know what to expect. That's where a lot of times our communication staff are very critical in asking those questions ahead of time, so when we get there we kind of have some idea of what's going on in that home before we get there. Again, if there's weapons, if there's been fighting, who made the call? Was it one of the people in the house? Was it a child in the house, or was it a neighbor? And if it's some outside person, chances are when nobody in the house has made that call, they're probably not going to be real receptive to our appearance. And so again, it's domestic violence, and the calls to domestic violence are probably one of the most dangerous things that a law enforcement officer can respond to. And so we train constantly on that. Elder abuse consists of anything from physical abuse to neglect to financial fraud, which is considered abuse, and in some rare occasions sexual abuse. Probably what we experience the most here in Brookings is going to be fraud. It's going to be attempts on that elderly individual to take something of value from them, money. And so there's all these scams out there that exist, and we've dealt with them. There's such a wide variety. Just today, I was sitting with one of my officers, and he got a call from the IRS stating they were filing suit against him for income tax violations. And that's the most recent one. And if they can load up on someone who's elderly that will buy into that, because let's face it, our elderly are maybe a little bit more trusting. I think the key here is to report, and it's just like with any abuse or violence, whether it's to a child, whether it's to an elderly person, whether it's to a marital situation that's gone bad, to call, to report it. It goes back to the favorite saying now: if you see something, say something. If you hear something, say something. Don't just ignore it. Even if there's nothing to it, we don't mind. We'd rather have people safe. And if there's people that are having problems, we want them to get the help that they need.